The US is still bombing people in the Caribbean and Pacific pretty much every week, but it barely makes the news now. Since September, the US has killed at least 181 people in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific in more than 50 strikes on small alleged drug trafficking boats. The US says that these boats carry narco-terrorists and drugs that kill Americans, but they still haven't provided any evidence or details about what or who is on board them. And it started as part of this wider military campaign in the region that culminated in the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the former Venezuelan leader. They tapered off a bit after that, but they have ramped up again. There have been at least 5 of these strikes in the last 10 days alone, killing 17 people. I've spent months covering this story and meeting families whose relatives were killed in Colombia, in Venezuela, and they all tell me the same thing. They deny that their relatives were part of some kind of cartel hierarchy. Instead, they say that they were poor fishermen. Some admit that their relatives might have accepted a job to transport drugs for a trafficker out of desperation or poverty. And while they acknowledge that that was wrong, they say it doesn't make them a narco-terrorist. And they say that the US should give people the right to a fair trial, arrest them, not just kill them. Some lawyers, including some I've spoken to representing some of these families, agree. They say you can't just kill someone accused of trafficking drugs without any kind of legal process. The US, though, is justifying this by claiming that they are in an international armed conflict with cartels, treating everyone on these boats as essentially a combatant in war. But that is a really controversial definition because critics say that that would require an organised armed group with a clear command structure, and that fishermen paid to carry drugs on a boat wouldn't meet that threshold. It is deeply contested legal ground. And what strikes me is that this story has largely fallen off the headlines, the news agenda since Maduro's capture, despite people still being killed every single week. And it also fits a wider pattern of the US military treating certain problems like trafficking as things to solve with bombs. On Iran, Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, even talked about how the US would negotiate with bombs. And here's what I keep coming back to as well. The US government is also filming these strikes, distributing the footage on social media the moment that people are blown up, killed, shared online. Journalists like me operate under strict ethical rules about when we should publish footage of the moment of death, the moment that someone is actually killed. The US government isn't operating with that restraint, and it does leave me with the question, is it making people quite immune to that? And is that part of the strategy, as well as trying to project a certain image of military might? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well.